Hey, how you guys doing? Before I jump into it, give me a sound check. Test, test, test. Can you hear me well? Is the video clear? Mr. Rigit, let me know. Yeah, let me know if the sound is clear, the video is clear. Say, sound is clear, video is clear. Hi, Uncle from Mexico. I will buy your course. Need to learn a couple of things to get out from tutorial hell. Very cool. Well, I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Slow night. I guess people are not getting the notifications. So, nice to both. All right, good, good. So sound and video are good. All right, good. New setup a little bit. So whenever you do a new setup, you get a little bit of some issues with regards to how things are going. All right, so got it. I got it. Story time with James. All right, welcome to the stream. No King says, no peasants. This topic sits all too well with me tonight. Hello from Nepal. Very cool. Very cool. Hello. Say where you're from, guys, when you come in. Hi from Pablo, Enrique Gorja. Where just got the notification. Wow, they're slow. I scheduled it like 15 minutes ago. What are you going to do? So I assume that the audio is clear tonight and the video is clear tonight. I also set a different setting with the latency so that it should come in more quickly in terms of your comments and so on. Versus, so there might be a suffering of video quality. Hi, Stef. I'm just finishing up another website for a small insurance company. It's going. Very cool, Jess Dog. Congratulations. Howdy. Welcome, everybody. My name is Stef. You don't know who I am. Some people call me Uncle Stef. Some people call me the 169-year-old nerd. And I don't want you shouldn't know what my ex-girlfriends call me, but that's another story. Howdy, welcome. This is the official salute. Welcome, welcome. Hey, how are you doing? Katerina Terini. Hi from Toronto. Long time no see. Where have you been? From Brazil. Nyack, New York. Where's Nyack, New York? Argentina. Tejas notification just popped up. Audio is all clear. No humming anymore. Good, good, good. Hi from India. Hey, Manik, how are you? Karakkal, Pakistan. Very good. I call Steph my friend. Very cool. New Jersey. Hello from San Diego. Dang. The title is hitting me hard for me right now. Nervous and debating on applying for this one job at SpaceX. Feel like there is for sure someone who would be better fit, but I don't know. Well, there's only one way to find out. Just get into it. Don't worry about it. Worst case scenario, they say no, and you are where you are now. But if you never go, it's like nothing ever happened. So you should do it, because every time you get a little bit of a rejection, you learn a little bit more. So I say, apply for the job. Let us know what happens. Let us know what happens, good or bad. And if it doesn't work out, see if you can find out why. Say, hey, what was missing? What's going on? So you learn, and then you progress from there. The analogy I like to make, because I used to box, the best fighters in the world champions, the most dominant champions, when they have a stellar night, when they're totally dominating their opponents, they got a connect rate of 50%. That means they miss half of their punches. So don't let these worries stop you from proceeding. One of the beefs, I've been working with schools for over 10 years now, and one of the beefs I have with many schools is that they teach people to be afraid to try, because in school you do a test, you fail, you fail the year, you can't move on, or you're blocked from this program. This is not representative of the real world. The real world, the successful try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, and succeed. So with every failure, you learn a little bit more. All right. Hey, how are you, Lenny? Welcome to the stream. Cheers. 2.5 miles out of New York City. Okay, very cool. Chile. I'm learning this lesson now, as Stefan knows. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, imposter syndrome has stopped me from applying. I have no faith in my skills, laugh out loud. Hologram, you got to take the young chucks out and you got to go for it. Okay, What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into this email that was sent to me that talks about all this. I'll read out this guy's story. I'll answer the questions he puts to me, and then we'll go to a little bit of Q&A. So here it is. Here it is, my friends. Okay, let's go. Can I zoom into this? Boom, 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 boom. So he's going to try to keep it as short as possible, which means it's going to be a long one. All right. I have been trying to learn to code for a few years now. I usually went for a few months at a time, but never felt good enough and took a break. I did get a job offer at $45K, but it would be using their in-house language, and it was 1.5-hour commute, so I passed. That's reasonable, by the way. You know, if it's a big commute like this, you don't want to do the commute. I can see that. Also, the in-house language, not necessarily a good thing. That being said, once you learn how to program from language A, B, or C, you can pivot afterwards. But anyway, that being said, let's go on. Maybe it's imposter syndrome, but I have zero confidence with my skills, or in my skills. I have taken a ton of courses, being left feeling like, okay, well, now what? And not knowing how to build projects of my own. I'm going to address this very soon for you. I have dabbled in JavaScript, Python, C#, HTML, CSS. Terrible with CSS. CSS is it ain't easy, let me tell you. And I have used Node, Express, MongoDB, Sass, JSON, jQuery, and Bootstrap. If I was to explain my skill level, I would kind of say I know what most stuff is, but I would have to use documentation / Stack Overflow to accomplish anything. Example, how to create a class in Python, how to iterate a dictionary, how to convert a string to int in C#. These are all basic operations, but I'll have an answer for this dude here, or dudette. With these breaks I have taken, sometimes a year apart, I forget pretty much everything. I just turned 30. I have basically zero work experience. My life is kind of pathetic, but nothing I can do now but face it and try to move forward. If you have any advice for me, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so let's tackle these things one step at a time. One step at a time. So let's go back here. All right, so he first says, so he's been learning how to code. He knows a bunch of things. He knows a bit about JavaScript, Python, C#, terrible with CSS, Mongo, Sass, J. So he's a dabbler. He's a dabbler, but he can't put it together in a total project. So that's why I teach, once you got your basics down, what you got to do is you got to go out there and do little tiny baby projects. Install WordPress, make a change to a WordPress theme, update their old HTML only website, maybe implement a shopping cart system with PayPal or some turnkey shopping cart where you just have to configure it and so on. When you're first learning how to code, when you first get out there and make that leap from tutorials or from courses into the real world, you have to start with simple projects. Just like a professional fighter doesn't step in the ring with Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson or Conor McGregor the first time they get into the ring. They start off with easy opponents, easy jobs. So you also have to understand, when you do your first jobs, especially the first little while, you're not going to know a lot of things. And part of your job as a developer is to get in there and learn as you go. You know, you learn as you go. And with every little job that you complete, even the simple ones like updating a WordPress theme, it will build confidence. With every project completed, it will build confidence. And as you go, it's fine to look up things on Stack Overflow. It's fine to go to Google to look to the documentation. It's not a problem. That's fine. That's actually great. In the old days, when I was first learning to write code, I would have a stack of nerd books beside me, and I would go, oh, gee, how do I do this in JavaScript? So I would look it up in the JavaScript book. But once you start writing more and more code, it will commit to memory. The problem that you have here is that you have a scattered skill set, and because you're not really writing any code for real, you don't have time, you don't give your brain time to commit the JavaScript or the Python or the C# to memory. The good thing is that you've conceptually at least gotten past the basics. So you understand what a function is and a variable is. You understand, what a database is, all these type of things. These are challenges that you've gotten through. So you've made progress. So, and the fact that they were willing to hire you at 45K tells me that you have some skill, right? They were willing to hire you. Of course, when you're hired in a new job, there's always a training period. So I think that you're not nearly as in bad a situation that you thought you are or you think you are. So what I would do is people know my channel, know what I'm going to tell you. You put up your demo website, make sure it looks good, then go out and do 2 to 3 small little projects that you do for free. And little things that you can tackle, and you don't have to know everything. If you just know the basics of it, then you can learn the rest. And because you're doing it for free, you're going to get the job super easily. And number 2, because you're doing it for free, and you say, listen, I know a bunch of stuff, but I'm still learning, so I'm willing to update your site for free. So I'll try to get it done in the next couple of weeks. But since they're not paying you, they can't really demand much from you, right? So it takes a lot of pressure off of you. And then you just learn as you go. My very first full stack project, I didn't know anything about databases. All I knew about databases, there was something like a spreadsheet, relational databases. That was my expectation. That was my level of skill vis-a-vis databases when I took on this first full stack job. I had done front end jobs, a little bit of server side stuff, but nothing like comprehensive, where I was using a DBMS, a database management system, and I wasn't doing full stack. So I still got the job, got my 50% of my money up front. It was freelance, and I sat down and I learned as I went. That was it. And I stuck to best practices vis-a-vis coding, simple code, self-describing coding, self-describing code rather, et cetera, and it came out very, very well. So don't expect, especially with your first few jobs, that you're going to go in there all-knowing. Nobody is all-knowing. And in fact, your job as a developer is to learn on the go. So yeah, so let me go back. The fact that you can go to, he says here, if I was to explain my skill level, I would kind of say I kind of know what most stuff is, but I would have to use documentation, Stack Overflow to accomplish anything. The fact that you can go to Stack Overflow and go to the documentation and figure this out, means you have a level of competency, a level of skill. That's part of your job as a developer, to be able to go to Stack Overflow, to be able to go to the documentation, to be able to figure this stuff out. So, dude, you're not too far away. The fact that you already got hired, even though it was not a good job, it was not the greatest job for you, that means you can get hired elsewhere. If you can get hired in one place, you can get hired somewhere else. Remember, I did a video yesterday. The sound came out really bad, so I took it offline, but on the 8 qualities of great developers, and only 2 of them were technical. A lot of stuff is just showing up on time, having good interpersonal skills, being curious, being able to self-teach, to be able to work with other people, et cetera, et cetera. I have to redo that and put it up cleanly in a future video. So there you go. I hope that was useful to you. That is the basis of this stream. So 13 minutes in, not so bad. Small group, please give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. And yeah, so let me jump up, see where we are with people. Rafet, what do you recommend a graphic designer who want to swap to web design and development? I'm afraid of all this language. Just jump into the web stack. And that's it. Just jump to the web stack, start learning HTML and CSS, JavaScript. I would take a look at my courses. I make it easy, and it'll be good. Then you can, once you understand the technologies or the mechanics, rather, of building a website and the web and so on, you'll be able to take your graphic design skills and port them over, which is cool. Got that? Yeah, it's Vulcan. That's the old Vulcan salute. That's a Star Trek reference. Let's see. Well, I haven't been to schooling for it, but The old war games, best move is not to play. Really things rings in my head, laugh aloud. Well, you can't win the fight if you don't step in the ring. Or as my father used to say, you can't catch any fish if you don't throw the line out in the water. You gotta play the game, you know. Better to play the game, I find, than to sit on the sidelines. How did you cure deviated nasal septum? Surgery. I went for surgery. I used to box, and I got my nose broken twice in the ring, and so at one point I couldn't breathe anymore. So I got the surgery done. Local anesthetic. I don't like going under because they shut down your body. I don't like that at all. So I went local anesthetic, so they basically give me a sedative, so I was spaced out. Hey, dude, I was kind of like that. And then they stuck a bunch of needles in my face. They froze up my face. And then they had to break my nose in 2 different places. And I was awake during the surgery. And they're like putting I couldn't see because my eyes were covered. But they put like a chisel in my nose, up my nostril like this. And at the fault line where I had broke. And they put a chisel up and they go, kink, like this. And they break my nose. And then they straighten it out. And then anyway, that's what they did. It was actually, it was interesting. I was having a conversation with the surgeons as they were re-breaking my nose again. After I got my septum straightened out, my insomnia disappeared. It's like magic. It was like being released from jail. And because of that, I stopped sparring. I said, that's it. I don't want to risk breaking my nose again, so I stopped sparring. So that's the story of how I cured my deviated septum. Hey, Alex, how are you? Please tell me how to get into Google. I didn't even apply to it as I consider it the epitome of software engineering world. Well, I'm sure there's plenty of articles out there and videos from people who are in Google. I don't know what Google's demands for the type of developers. I'm sure it changes over time. So I would just look that up and see what Google is looking for now. You have to be top of the game, though. You have to be top of the game. Is jQuery still good? Well, it's used minimally these days in the background. I think people much prefer basic, standard, vanilla JavaScript. Here we go. I'm 37 years old. I've been learning Python for 6 months. I understand up to OOP and GUI programming. Feeling discouraged, not knowing where or how to advance my knowledge or what tech to learn next. Well, what I would do is I would start looking around the job market, see what kind of Python jobs are available, and look at what modules, what specializations in Pythons you're going to find of those jobs. It might be web stack with Django. It might be just server automation with Python scripting. Who knows? Another thing you can do, just start circling out a little wider in terms of your focus. So instead of just looking at Python, see what else is out there, look at job opportunities and jump into that in terms of learning that. You're probably going to find a lot of web stack work. That all said and done, now that you know Python, to learn your second and your third language will be much, much easier. So don't worry about that. I've never had imposter syndrome. That's good. Welcome back. Hey, welcome back, SJ. Thanks for showing up. Elementor versus Gutenberg blocks for non-developers. I don't have comparative experience, so I couldn't say. I play with Elementor, never worked with Gutenberg blocks. I think Elementor is the much more popular theme or framework, I guess you would call it. But I appreciate that. Elementor is pretty good, slows your site down a lot, but most builders do. Hamed Mansour says, I'm learning C#. I am decent in Python. I got confused about how much C# should I learn to get into .NET world. Well, you should learn .NET. Just now that you know C#, learn .NET. And there's different types. There's ASP.NET. There's all kinds of .NET and specializations. I haven't looked at .NET in a long time. Most of it, I'm sure, is web-based stuff. Yes, Lizzie Wizzy. Yeah, Lizard Wizard is my course on very advanced training on and practical training on psychology, your brain, the operating systems of your brain. And that's going to help you with your imposter syndrome because you're going to learn why you have fears. You're going to learn why you have anxieties, why you feel good some days and bad other days. You're going to develop better skills in terms of coping with that and better interpersonal skills. You want to check that out. Question. I'm learning Flutter Dev for last 1 year. I have recently developed a Flutter web app that uses YouTube API and Firebase to show YouTube videos, but I'm unable to crack Flutter test in Turing. Yeah, you're going to have to just keep working on it, try different projects. You don't just want to do one, you want to do many. The process of going from knowing your basics of code to getting that job, there's a process to it. Applications and doing interviews and failing interviews and figuring out why you failed and coming back and learning more and trying again. There's plenty of jobs out there. Plenty of jobs. The only way you get better at applying for jobs is by applying for jobs. Uncle, how can I jump from pure graphic design to web design development? I had great experience with HTML. I had great experience with HTML5, CSS3 back in the day, but I dropped that because I'm afraid of all these languages, JS. If you don't have to be a JS master to do graphic or front-end web design. Like, you don't have to know much JS at all, really. So I would just jump into it. Don't worry about it. If you're worried about JS, take my JS course. You'll learn JS. Cybersecurity versus coding development. I think there's great opportunity in both. I tend to believe coding development is probably will give you more opportunity to. I would imagine there's many more jobs in there in the web, in the coding and development space, and a lot more variety perhaps. But I think you can't go wrong with either. Personally, I like creating, building things. That's where I think the big money is at. Where should I try to get a remote job? I am from Nepal. Well, if you're going to get a remote job, what you want to do is make sure your command of a language wherever you want to remotely work in or at, if you know what I mean. So if you want to get a job and do remote work in the U.S., make sure you got really good U.S. English. If you want to do work in France, make sure you got good French. It's much more about language and communication skills. It's not even imposter syndrome. It becomes realism. Which is better? Choice. Okay, we got that one. Colton. Cheers. I think it's $19. Hey, Christy. Aloha. How are you? Hello, Fromage Victoriaville, Quebec. Thank you for all the thé usé full info. I'm not sure what that is. Hey, Sean, how are you, man? I hope everything is well. How do you deal with bad, lazy teammates? Well, you take them in the back room. No, you don't do that. Especially if you're not lead, so you can't really tell them to move it. Ooh, that's a delicate situation. You may want on the side, in a very polite and very light way, say, hey, the tech lead, the team lead. Say, hey, what do we do? Some of the teammates are a little lazy. Don't name any names and see what he has to say. But be very, very quiet about it. Try to be nice about it if you can. Wow, Frank, all right, he's impressed. I learned more from Studioweb than college. Superb, much to learn. Stefan, Mishak, woo, let's go. I appreciate that, SJ. Thank you very much. Christy's back. Yep. I'm pretty jealous of Christy. Hawaii Christy. I'm new Java dev for the past 50 days. Congratulations. All I've done is refactor and write tests for a severely unoptimized and ugly code and didn't get the chance to add any features. Is this good for my career? Well, you just started, dude. First 50 days. You're a noobs. That's good because it's cleaning up code and seeing bad code will make you a better coder. Being good at refactoring is, again, I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things I keep mentioning is how refactoring and design patterns are the two key skill sets that you have to become good at. Refactoring, if you don't know, is a process of cleaning up code. There are set methodologies that people use. So he's developing those skills. As you refactor ugly code, you become a better coder. You've only been there for 50 days. Don't worry. Let it build. You're going to gain skill. So I think it's a good thing. Hey, Elementor. Here we go. I want to do something big. Want to start up, but just thinking about it makes my body paralyzed. Fearful thoughts come. Brain becomes numb for a while. What should I do? Start off by doing a little bit of freelance work. Learn to work with clients. Learn to collect money. Learn to negotiate. Learn to do all these things. So it's good to start off with that. The first business is a freelance business because there's no startup cost and it's relatively much less pressure. So start off freelancing and learn about business that way. Also, you can take my entrepreneur course. That will help a lot. Like 100% of his time spent refactoring. Yeah. When you're first starting out, that's okay. It's only been 50 days. Lizard Wizard has helped me tremendously. I appreciate that. Thanks, Matthew. All right. We've got some kind of stuff. Stef, what is your favorite music band? The Greek Viking asks. Oh, that really depends on my mood. It depends on my age and my mood. When I was a kid, I used to like the Beatles, of course, like everybody else. Then I got into middle school. I was into Led Zeppelin and The Doors and Black Sabbath. Then I got older. My taste broadened into, I don't know, a little bit of Donny Hathaway, Miles Davis, Philip Glass, all kinds of different things. I'm all over the place. Now I'll listen to everything. I'll listen to disco, to funk. I like 70s funk a lot. It depends on my mood. If I'm training, it's AC/DC, great band. Cream, that stuff. Starting my CS degree this semester. Any advice? Yeah, do a little bit every day, Nicolas. A little bit every day. Don't wait to study last minute. If you do whatever you need to do every day in terms of homework. Write code as much as you can, as early as possible. The more code you write, the more you're going to comprehend. That's the interesting thing about coding. As you write code and build things, your comprehension increases tremendously. When I first started learning how to code, I did the opposite. I thought that by studying, trying to understand things conceptually through study, I thought that would ease my way into practical coding. It's actually the opposite. You start coding right away, and as you write code, the conceptual understanding comes with the writing of code. So that's how you should go. So try to write code as much as possible. A little bit every day. Hey, Stefan, I'm currently working as a GIS analyst last 4 years, but I'm interested in freelance development. Should I switch to pure programming or incorporate into GIS? Thanks for your help. I don't know how much freelance work is there as a GIS analyst. I would look into that, start checking out the market, see if you can find any freelance gigs as a GIS analyst. That being said, freelance development, you're probably going to see it's dominated by the web stack. So that's where you want to go, is into the web stack. MySQL kicks my ass. Just do the basic CRUD. You just need the CRUD operations. Stay away from inner and outer joins. You'll be okay. How can I get better with creative problem solving when coding? Some of the solutions I find on so are things I never think of. Well, that comes with practice, by the way. It comes with practice. As you write more and more code, you start seeing things. Use some of the things I teach in my courses. Get code to work. Break the code. And then change it up and see how it goes again. And there you go. Is 34 too old to get a job? Not even close. You're very, very, very young. Yeah. Hello from Texas. Hey, that's good. What part of Texas, man? Plus, every problem has different solutions. Hold on. What is the best way to study for code test tech interviews? Matthew might be able to answer that. Depends on the interview. And basically, as I tell people, when you're applying for jobs, you have to study your prospective employer, see what stacks they're using and how they're using them. What I mean by stacks, what techs they're using, what tech they are using, and then study that, and then write that and do that, and then check up. So let's say you find out they're doing Python Django, then find out what are the typical things they're asking for Python Django programmers, what kind of tests they're asking to do. You got to do some research on that. How do you get fundamentally good with doing logic with JavaScript? By just doing logic with JavaScript. It's like fighting. How do you get fundamentally good with JavaScript? You do that by, how do you get fundamentally good with coding? Sorry, I was distracted by something. How do you get fundamentally good with fighting? You get in a ring, you fight. You want to get good with JavaScript, just got to write code, start solving problems. It starts becoming natural. Hey, man, how are you? Fake it until you make it, right? Anybody can learn anything. It's just a matter of effort and time. Pretty much effort, time, iterations. We live in a golden era now where you have access to so much information. The problem today is filtering out all the good pieces of information from the bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. How much can you bench? These days, I will make that joke. Stef, since you recommend me to pick a course from you, Uncle, should I go with full web development course or start my lovely front-end development? I would just get the full stack since it's just like, $5 or $8 more, whatever it is. It's good to learn a little back end. It will open up your horizons by quite a bit. Tips on career change to software engineer. Ooh, I've done a lot of videos on that. I think you can check my back catalog on YouTube. We'll start learning the code. Just start learning codes, start writing code. Repeat, wash and repeat. Start freelance before startup, but in case my startup fails badly, I will regret doing job was better. Time just got wasted. Is it like that? Start freelance, but in case my startup fails badly, I will regret doing job was better. No, you won't. No. I see what you're trying to say. I think what he's trying to say is, if I try a startup and it fails, will I be full of regret because I could have just gotten a job? No, what you're probably going to find is that the experience, even in failure from trying to start a startup, will be worth many jobs. And it's fantastic experience. So I would say, if you're considering getting into business and you don't have responsibilities, you don't have wife and kids, now's the time to do it. Do it now. You don't, because you're going to forever regret not doing it later on in life. So do it now. I assume you're not old like me, and you're not 169, so you have time. So do it now, try it out, get it out quick, fail fast, blow it up. See, businessmen are not afraid, or women are not afraid of failure. They see it as part of the process, right? And so try not to think that if the business fails, it's a huge failure. No, it's just part of the process. So I'd say go for it. If you have no dependencies, right? In your opinion, how did I click that one? I clicked the wrong one. Okay, Uncle, is the work in large tech companies really worth it in terms of experience, how experienced we should have for a proper start of our company? Thank you. You don't need to work in a large company to start your own business. You don't. Because the fact of the matter is, when you have a startup, a new business, the structure of the business is totally different, and how you operate that small startup business is totally different from running a big organization. So if you go work for a big company, I've seen this happen many times. Somebody works for a big company, and they even become C-level executives, the They're at the high level, VPs and so forth. And they say, okay, I'm going to start a company now. But they never started a company. And they're shocked by how different it is to actually start a company from scratch with very little money without this big organization to support you. Versus, that's how it is when you have a startup. It's a totally different game. Entrepreneurship, startup management is very different from working for very large corporations. So if you want to do startups, I would say just jump into doing a startup. That's it. There you go. The one advantage of working for a large corporation is that if you do a few years in a large corp, especially if you get into management, at least you'll get a window in terms of how larger businesses manage themselves. And so if your startup later on gets to that point, at least you have some experience there. That being said, if your startup gets to that point, you could hire that experience in, as my friends have. In your opinion, how much of an advantage the knowledge of advanced mathematics gives you in software development? It gives you very little advantage unless you're going into very specialized software development like AI development or maybe game engine development. Other than that, all you need in terms of math is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Uncle Stef, how tall are you? I am 6'2". I think that's 1.87 meters, something like that, for people in the metric systems. Let me go on. What is your favorite food? My favorite food, again, it depends on my on the day. But I do love sushi. I love stone crab from the Gulf of Mexico. What else do I love? Chicken. I eat a lot of chicken. This channel is awesome. Thank you so much. Very good. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm working remote because COVID-19. Now that everything is more normal, I'm afraid to go back to the office because I will spend a lot of time in transportation. It will be until 6 p.m. every day. Yes. A lot of people are discovering that. That was something interesting about COVID. People, for the first time, many people in the first time in their careers discovered the work from home lifestyle. This, of course, is nothing new to me. Last time I had a job working for somebody, I was a bouncer in a nightclub. That was like 800 years ago. Ever since then, I've had my own little businesses. And I had an office once and a factory once. Well, not a factory, but a warehouse. And I had that and I hated it. And I vowed never to have office space again. So people work for me. They all work remote. I don't believe in... If we needed to meet, we'd meet at my place or we'd meet at a restaurant or something. So yeah, that's something that's going on. It's going to be interesting to see the cultural changes that go on in the West because people have discovered some of the advantages of working from home. We'll see how that goes. So, by the way, how's the video quality? How's the audio quality? I hope everything is good. Uncle Stef, what's the best disciple to practice JS coding? Disciple? What's the best disciple to practice JS coding? I'm not sure what you mean. Do 20 minutes a day minimum. I'm glad I could help. Before my queue, enjoy your videos and streams. Before my queue, I do enjoy your videos. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hey, Paul, how are you, man? Welcome to the stream. Hey, Steph, what's your favorite part of coding? I don't code often these days. I just manage things. But it depends, It depends. It depends on the type of development I like to do. I like seeing systems. I like building things that people use. I got a kick out of when people would use my software. It's like, wow, I'm building something actually somebody likes, somebody's using. That was pretty much it. Can I make it as a web dev and data administrator study CS diploma right now? Why not? There's plenty of opportunities there. What are your thoughts on AppSec engineer? I do not have any thoughts on that. I just look at the job opportunities and make sure that type of work is what you like to do. And I got a super chat, so I'll have to check into that for a second. Good evening from West Point, New York, Steph. Just stopping by. Thanks for what you do. I appreciate it, Joseph. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Cheers. What do you think about Angular? And if I want to learn, where should I start from? Well, you should know your web stack first. Do your web stack, make sure you understand that. And then you can jump into Angular. But check out the job opportunities first. Loving your courses, but can we please get the 10-year-old teaching custom theme development? It kills me, Igil Hafa. Yeah, that's an old one. You see, there's a few project courses that are really old that I left in there. I keep pulling them out, and people would say, nah, keep them in. So what I keep them in, but you don't have to do them, you know. With the theme course, by the way, even though it's old, theming has not changed. The theme that you're building there is dated design-wise, but in terms of learning how the themes work, it hasn't changed. But I'm a big believer, you do my fundamental courses, which are becoming the pro courses. There's lots of projects in there. Then you just 2 or 3 little projects, and that's it. I went ahead and started a JavaScript fundamentals course, and you're absolutely right. It's easier to grasp than CSS. Haha. Yeah, CSS is a bit of a tricky thing. They got too cute with their technology when they built CSS. CSS, you got to understand selector types. You got to understand the cascade. Those are 2 key concepts. Are really those selectors and the cascade, huge. And third, layout. You get that. Maybe I can throw in box model, which is related to layout. Not in new stuff, but in the old stuff. But you get those 3. That's the key to CSS. All right. I interviewed with a guy who was on his 3rd startup. 1 failed, 1 he sold for $3 million. Yeah, there you go. There you go. How much of React should I need to learn to feel confident and escape from tutorial? Well, you should feel comfortable implementing React to do random things. You may not be able to do everything from scratch right away, but you should be, okay, I need to do this for React. You should be, okay, I know pretty much what I need to do. There we go. Let's see. Jim says, in your 30s, too old? No way. I'm 62, getting back into freelancing, learning some new tech. I'm throwing my hat in the ring. I'll keep my mind sharp. Maybe imposter, but I don't care. That's the attitude, dude. Great thing about coding is that it keeps your mind sharp because you're learning new things, and you're like a detective when you're a coder, right? You're figuring out things. You're a detective and an architect. It's very cool, and you want to preserve your mind and your brain by learning new things, challenging yourself with new things. I remember months back, or maybe a couple years back, you see these companies advertising these brain training games where you do puzzles and stuff. Just do code, man. Just do code. Learn to write code and make money. Hoa, this is Meta. I'm taking a break learning Python. Here we are. Are you techies into crypto? I'm sure some people into crypto. I think I still have some Ethereum coin laying around. For more advice and tips, we also have a Discord, Code Long and Prosper. Yeah, we have a Discord. There's a link below this video. You can check out the Discord if you want. Alan Johnson. Hey, Steph. Just got a full stack job with a major airline for a 30% move up in pay. Hey, congratulations. By the way, Mr. Johnson's experience, John Stone. Anyway, Alan's experience is not uncommon, where people have to move from job A to B to get the salary increase. There you go. Congratulations. 30% jump. That's huge. Good job. Good job. I appreciate that. Yes. Right? Yeah, pretty good likes. Hi, Steph. I work in a restaurant. I want to change careers. How long will it take me to learn coding? I don't want to work for others for the rest of my life. Is it possible to work remote or freelance. Yes, it's very possible to work remote and freelance. Matthew is moving from the restaurant business as well. How long it takes depends on you, depends on how much time you have. I just say start today. Start with the basics. Say, I'm going to do 20 minutes a day. Step by step, you start learning. Let me dispel a few myths for you. Do you need to work at a job to become a freelancer? No. No. Do you need an advanced degree to get a job as a developer? No. Do you need lots of math to become a great developer? No. All right, there's many barriers for people. Okay. Goring says, I have been trying to learn JS recently from a PHP, HTML++, CSS background, and what to do oftentimes I find a project, I get issues, and I realize I could do it easier in PHP and do. What should I do? Well, learn a technology because you see a money-making opportunity for you. That's it. So learn JavaScript if you feel that there's a job you're looking to get in JavaScript. Otherwise, don't feel compelled to use a technology just because the technology is there. They're just tools to use, and you use them if you need them. Always had a hard time learning to program, just couldn't piece the code together. I haven't tried a tutor. What do you suggest? I suggest you take a look at my courses or my mentoring program. You will learn there. You will learn there. Yeah. Oh yeah, here's the super chat. Dan. Best way to build confidence is consistency, overcoming a challenge, and becoming a better version of yourself. It's a lifelong challenge. Yeah, pretty much. Experience. Like anything else. 22% of people meet their spouse in the workplace. That's true. Actually, I'll give you some Uncle Stef dating advice. Ready? If you're looking to get married, something really serious, you want to do it when you're in school. Younger, the better. The younger, the better. Yeah, there's no quite, well, within reason. You don't want to do it when you're 12. But, college, university, best time to date, best access, you can screen people. And if you're thinking about getting married and all this kind of stuff, you want to get it done in your 20s, early 30s at latest, because by that time, women have a biological clock. They gotta have their kids before they get too old. So if you're serious about that, if that's your thing, start young. Get into it young. And it takes about 18 months to 2 years before you really know somebody. So if you start dating somebody and after 6 months you're thinking of marrying them, vet them for until you do your 18 months to 2 years. Make sure you get to know their family and so on. And if everything checks out, then you can pull the trigger. There's my advice on that. This is my last year in university. We are using Scrum to manage final capstone project. Have you ever worked with Scrum, or do you have any advice? Thank you. No, I don't believe I've worked with Scrum. I may have, but I've at this point in time forgotten. I just do a little every day. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And there he goes. Oh. So it says my stream quality is going down, so my apologies. What else do we got? All right. Oh boy, it's almost an hour. Hey Steph, good to see you back live. Is Studio website down? Yeah, right now my whole server is down, so you may have to wait an hour. So they know they're on it, but my whole VPS is down for some reason. So my hosting company is having difficulties. Yeah. Just graduated university, living in Jamaica. Any advice on getting remote work in USA or Canada without industry experience, just projects? Put up a great website. Make sure it's well written. Make sure copy is good. And start just reaching out to people, reaching out to companies. Make sure you got your communications, your written skills are top notch. All right. Dating advice, clean, nice shoes. Yeah, that's also true. Okay. Congratulations. All right. What do you think of low-level programming, such as kernel driver development in language like C? Do you see it as a particular easy to do or even worth putting effort into? I've never done that kind of programming. I know some friends who do. Some people like it a lot. Some people, I know one guy likes it a lot. One guy, he's like, it drives him nuts, even though that's what he does every day. Just test it out, see if you like it, man. You know, everybody's got their predispositions. You know, some people like this, some people like that. Let's see what he says here. Got married at 19. Whoa, call me old-fashioned, but I didn't want to use lady, if you catch my drift. Now I have 2 kids and going great. Hey, congratulations. Good. Why girls hate me? Well, I don't know. Make sure you have clean shoes, clean nails, you don't smell, you're well groomed, clean shirt, learn to smile. You should do my Lizard Wizard KOMODO, where you learn how to interact with people. Take it from there. Good listener is good as well. Ask questions. Be curious about the other people, what they want. I think the stream is breaking. That's what I heard. Yeah. Kevin. Hey, Steph, I just wanted to get your advice for landing those big paying clients for freelancing. I have a website with my services and have done pretty much everything, but I can't seem to land anything. You have to look at the site, make sure the site looks really good. And you got to start with small contracts first, and then you build up from there. But you can find a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel where I discuss that at length. Your opinion on low-code platform. I think they're tools that you should look into, you should be aware of. I'm going to do another video on that. I don't see them as a threat. I just see them as a tool set that you could use, just like those AI code completion services as well. All right, everybody. I'll leave with this last one from Ian Norris, and then I'm off. Any words of wisdom on how much to charge clients per amount of work for developing websites? Also, do you have a preferred tool suite you like to use when editing website design? Well, when creating, I guess, website design and mock-ups. Everybody's got their different tools that they prefer. The guy I work with, he likes using Photoshop still. Whatever tool you like, everybody's different. I start off with sketching things on paper first, and I take it from there. In terms of how much to charge, you should check out my freelance course where I get into all that. It all depends on your level of skill, depends on the level of work that you're doing, you know. Okay, one last one. If you're new to freelancing, find out you're in over your head on a project, how would you handle it? Would definitely be a fear of mine. Well, you know, I don't know if that will happen, but it does happen. One thing you got to do is you got to make sure when you do bid the project that you do give yourself some breathing space in terms of time, so that you have time to deal with any unforeseen events. And also, what you should be doing now is you should be reaching out, making contacts with other developers, so that you can talk to them if something should happen. That's one of the values of our mentoring group. We have a lot of experienced people on there which you can reach out to. And get some help in that regard. All right, guys and girls, thanks for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. Decent small group tonight, but nonetheless. I hope everything is well with you. Take care. And thanks for the super chat too. Ciao, ciao.